The story did not begin in a laboratory. It began in silence, deep inside a limestone cave in Somerset, England, where sunlight barely dared to enter. A human skull lay hidden for nearly 10,000 years. The cave was cold, damp, and quiet. So quiet that even time seemed to move slowly there. Water dripped from the ceiling, echoing softly like a ticking clock of history. The skull did not know it would one day shake the modern world. It did not know it would challenge ideas, identities, and beliefs people had held for centuries. This skull belonged to a man who lived around 10,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age, long before England was called England, long before borders, flags, and the idea of Britishness even existed. Scientists would later name him Cheddar Man, after the village near the cave where he was found. But once, he was simply a man, a hunter, a survivor, a human being. A world before Britain. Cheddar Man lived in a world very different from today. There were no cities, no roads, no castles or crowns. The land that would one day become Britain was wild and raw. Thick forests covered much of it. Massive animals roamed freely, red deer, wild horses, and even giant aurochs, ancestors of modern cattle. Wolves howled in the distance, rivers flowed untamed, and the air smelled of wet earth and pine. Cheddar Man belonged to a group of Mesolithic hunter-gatherers. They did not farm the land. They did not build permanent houses. Instead, they moved with the seasons, following animals, gathering berries, nuts, and roots. Life was hard, but it was real. Every day was a test of strength, intelligence, and cooperation. Hunger was a constant threat. Cold winters could kill. A small injury could become fatal. Yet these people survived, not because they were primitive, but because they were deeply connected to nature. Cheddar Man woke up each morning not knowing what the day would bring. Would he find food? Would the hunt succeed? Would his family survive another winter? He had no idea that thousands of years later, people would argue about the color of his skin. The discovery. In 1903, workers exploring Gough's Cave stumbled upon human remains. Among them was a skull remarkably well preserved. Archaeologists were excited, but they had no idea just how important this discovery would become. At the time, science was limited. They could estimate age, they could study bones, they could guess lifestyle, but DNA, that was a dream for the future. So Cheddar Man became a museum artifact, a quiet resident of display cases and textbooks. He was labeled the oldest complete human skeleton found in Britain, and everyone assumed the same thing. They assumed he was white, because in many minds, ancient Britain meant pale skin, light eyes, and a familiar European look. No one seriously questioned that image. It fit comfortably with the story people wanted to tell themselves. Until science caught up. A scientific revolution. More than 100 years later, in the early 21st century, DNA technology had transformed archaeology. Scientists could now extract genetic material from ancient bones. They could reconstruct faces, trace ancestry, and uncover truths hidden for millennia. In 2018, a team of researchers decided to re-examine Cheddar Man's remains. What they found stunned the world. Using advanced DNA analysis, scientists reconstructed Cheddar Man's physical appearance. The results were clear, unmistakable, impossible to ignore. Cheddar Man had dark to black skin, dark curly hair, blue eyes. The oldest known Briton was not white. Shockwaves across society. The revelation spread fast. Headlines exploded, social media erupted, debates ignited. How can the first Brit be black? This rewrites history. They're changing facts for politics. Some people were fascinated, others were angry, many were confused. For centuries, British identity had been closely linked, often unconsciously, to whiteness. The idea that the original inhabitants of Britain were dark-skinned felt uncomfortable to some, threatening even. But science does not care about comfort. DNA does not lie. The truth was simple. Skin color evolved over time. Pale skin developed later as humans adapted to lower sunlight levels in northern regions to absorb more vitamin D. In Cheddar Man's time, dark skin was an advantage. It protected against the sun. It was natural. It was human. Whiteness came much later. A man, not a symbol. Lost in all the arguments was a simple truth. Cheddar Man was not trying to make a statement. He did not belong to modern politics. He did not care about race debates. He did not know the word Britain. He was a man who hunted animals, a man who laughed, feared, loved, a man who died and was forgotten, until now. Yet his DNA forced modern humans to look in the mirror and ask uncomfortable questions. What does it mean to belong? Who gets to claim history? And how much of what we believe is based on fact, and how much on assumption? The mirror of the past. Cheddar Man's story reminds us of something powerful. Human history is not simple. Identity is not fixed, and the past is often stranger than the stories we tell ourselves. The first Brit was not white, but he was human, and in his bones we see the truth we often forget.